got fire-breathing dragons as the issue. He doesn't seem like the right kind of person to make the right kind of decisions. No shade, but you get what I'm saying here. He's kind of a dork, right? Right?
As you say that, you hear this deep chuckle from behind you, and you say, I think you're right. It's not that he doesn't have the right people. He doesn't have any people. And the Elias comes and sits right next to the three of you on this. And he looks up and smiles.
Oh yeah.
And you see he's got dark hair and blue eyes. And he looks up and smiles. And you hear Brynhilder go, Elias, how you doing, my boy? He's like, good, Brynhilder. Good seeing you. He's like, he looks over and sees the tea that you're drinking there and he says, how's the tea?
I was told it was strong. Seems fine.
Okay. He's like, I'll have
Bitter.
one
Hot.
one of those, but
Oh my God.
but I'm gonna need you to put a little bit of that spiced rum into it. And he smiles politely at her.
Hell yeah. It's 8 a.m. Sounds great.
No, it's like 10 or 11.
10:30. Okay, yeah, sure.
8 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, it's supper time somewhere.
That's exactly right. It's 8 o'clock in Nim. So anyways, so as he kind of gets his drink and he says, so here's sort of the situation that we have. We need to figure out a way to get this gate open. The problem is, it's exactly as what I think you've said, Brynhilder. Something's wrong with the Aether Gate Bridge. Now, I don't know that specifically, but that seems to be what the buzz is around town. That Stone Ridge is really at max capacity. You're talking, we have hundreds of people more than what they can handle, in addition to supplies.
No, this is untenable. This is a powder keg of people. This is going south so fast. I have an appointment with Jaja at 3 p.m. and I think we should move that up to, I don't know, 20 minutes from now.
Okay.
Wait, isn't it 3 p.m. now? Right? Sorry, I thought that our meeting with Sable was at 3.
No.
No, your meeting with Sable was in an hour.
Yeah, the meeting with Sable was
He showed up early.
Yeah, but he's here. Okay, guys. So he's here early.
You guys have been talking a lot. So time flies when you're
apparently, yeah.
Time flies when you are lore dumping. So just kidding. But he says to you, he's like, we could move that up because I have a 1 o'clock with the magistrate. So unless you want to have an extra couple hours to kick around, we could, be meeting him shortly.
We're going to do that.
So,
right?
So before we do anything, let's hear more about this plan of yours.
So yesterday when I arrived in Stone Ridge, I went and met with the magistrate personally. So here's the deal. The magistrate doesn't have any more resources to commit to further ventures into turning on the Aethernet bridge, right? It's just not tenable for them. Additionally, the only person who can grant access for non-specific guards of Stone Ridge to move forward is the Duchess. You see, Stone Ridge was really, initially, it was an oligarchy. There was sort of 2 royal families, and it kind of became one, which is the Nogalas, which is the Duchess who hasn't been seen in 4 days. So he doesn't have enough people to go and find her, but she's the only person who can grant us the access to what we need and really officially make it so we can be that team. He says that with like big quotation marks as he smiles, to get us closer to Lodell. So if the 3 of you, and the problem is I can't do it by myself because team we need a vanguard and I need 2 others. They won't govern us if we're too small. 4 is the minimum.
That checks out.
It's called a light party.
Did the bridge? Oh my god. Did the bridge failure and the Duchess's disappearance? Did those happen at the same time?
No, the bridge failed about 7-8 days ago. Duchess disappeared about 4. From what I gather.
Is there already a contingent of people investigating the Duchess's disappearance? Does she do this often?
That I don't know.
Does she have handlers?
These are good questions. We should probably ask the magistrate. You hear Brynhilde say, yeah, she doesn't have handlers, but she just got married to that Clotaire. Tell you what, he's a pretty one to look at.
But you got opinions about her new spouse?
Sure do. Let me pull up my NPC sheet.
So his name is Voltaire?
Clotaire. Clotaire Jean L is in,
Jean Delane.
Yep. He's a really nice guy. Family. A lot of gil. I mean, we're talking like old money. So, been here. I think his family's one of the founding family members. But, some people say that it was like an arranged marriage, but I don't know. He seems like a nice guy. I mean, right? I don't know. You guys never met him. You guys are new here. So, but yeah, her estate's out to the southwest.
I want to lean in real close to Brynhilde and ask, did they marry for love?
She says, she goes, I don't know if she married for love, but she might have married him for his jaw. That thing is just clean, and he's real pretty. Real pretty. I wouldn't have married him for love. I'd have married him for his looks, personally. But
appreciate your honesty.
Wow. What's the point of lying? Especially to strangers. She says, she's like Brynhilde's like kind of an open book a little bit, as you guys can find. Elias looks at the three of you and says, so, should I make an audience with the magistrate?
That's
works for me.
mean, 100%. Of a ton of questions, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
He's like, well, I tell you what, let's walk and you can ask him. And as you leave, you hear Elias say, Brynhilde, you can just throw they should cover it. And he throws, some gil on the counter and starts making his way towards the exit. He gives kind of the signal, like, you first, like to like everybody. And so as you guys sort of make your way towards the magistrate, now it's actually about halfway up towards, not quite as tall to the top, like you had to go for the announcement. This is sort of like in the middle. As Elias is sort of, making his way up with you guys, he looks at you and says, I'll try to answer your questions as best I possibly can. So fire away. He kind of looks off into the kind of the distance as he's marching up.
Is this Elias that's saying he'll answer our questions, or are we with the magistrate?
No, it's Elias.
What brings you to Stone Ridge, friend?
That's a good question. Heading to Halver. Got some. We guess we can call it business there. That's probably the best way to put it. Been doing a lot of traveling lately, but Halver seems like my final destination. So, how about you?
You know what? I'll be as cagey and say the same. Doing a lot of traveling. I feel a pull to Halver. So okay, so he had like a weird glowy orb thing at the gate when I first met him or first saw him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
What got you in? What do you have?
He smiles. He says, and he kind of smiles at you, and he says, that'll be something we can talk about a little bit later, but he kind of like brushes it off, like not in a I'm gonna ignore you kind of way, but like, yeah,
sure,
almost more in like this.
No, I get
deeper,
it. I get
right?
it.
And he,
I got
and
you.
So he looks over at you, Fervent, and he says, how's your Proscara been? Are you
It's just begun. In fact, I've had no issues until now, until coming to the city. But I was going to ask you what order you come from.
order? Oh, he says, he kind of smiles a little bit. He says, "No, I'm not a paladin." He smiles. I've been to Reaganhold. It's beautiful. This is in the summertime when you get to the top of Reaganhold. There's this stone, pillar. I think you guys train there. When the sun sets, does it turn red and turns that completely red still?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But you seem to know our ways very well then for not being one of us.
Listen, I've done a lot of traveling, and been quite a few different city states. Been in Nim. That's a beautiful one. If you ever get a chance to, for the right reasons. Be careful going to those streets at night because they can be dicey. Anytime you have, large mercantile ports, there's going to be riffraff that shows up. That'd be my only advice there. Get to Nim if you can. It's beautiful. The beautiful ocean, the view of the sea. And he looks over.
Spoken like someone with a bottomless coin purse.
He smiles. Not bottomless. Let's just say let's just say that certain expenses I can itemize. And he smiles, kind of like cheekily, and he says that, and he looks over at you, Vhalor, and he said, "What the hell was that?" Back at the announcement.
Oh, busted.
Well, if I was going to get through the gate somehow, it was going to be with a lot of help. So I thought it might be worth a shot.
He smiles. It's like, I have a feeling that if we're going to make it to, I think we're all heading to Halver. If I had to take, we're going to need that kind of ingenuity. Come on. And as he says that, you get to these giant, these are two 20-foot oak, like big oak doors that are up like a small flight of stairs that make up the magistrate's building. And what you can tell just from looking at it is that half the building looks like it's residence. So whoever the magistrate is, like, looks like they actually live here. And then the other half is like almost like a commons area where people would come in. So as you make your way in, you're immediately greeted by there's there's a clerk who's sitting there, and they're small Lalafell. She's got hair and it's braided down her back, and she waves over to you. She's like trying her best to like get everyone calm as they're sort of like flipping out. And Elias comes up and he says, "Stay here." And he pushes his way to the front. Out of the side door, you see the scholar that you had talked to. She comes out and sort of greets Elias, and he looks back at the three of you and he kind of waves you.
Man, this guy opens doors.
Nice.
Thanks.
So, and as you three sort of make your way through, the crowd starts to notice this, and they start sort of looking at you, and you kind of feel that every eye in the room is on you as you make your way through here. And you hear some snarls, and you hear one person say, "Yeah, last paladin came through. We haven't heard from him." And you just kind of hear like some of these small tidbits here, and you hear like, "Oh, is this another adventuring party?" Like you're hearing some of these things. And as you make your way, you see the scholar. She looks over at you, Rex, and she's, I'm sorry, you're 2 hours early. You'll have to come back." And Elias looks at her. He's like, "Oh no, she's part of us." She's like, "Oh, okay. Well then, this way." And she's kind of awkward, but she's very polite. She's like Andrew Garfield if he were a female Ellison scholar. That's kind of like the best way to put it. And that's how I started beef with Andrew Garfield. That's not going to go anywhere.
That's fun.
So she makes her way, and what you guys notice is you go through these sort of dimly lit stone corridors, and it's cold in here. You're sort of into the mountain a little bit. So like some of the buildings are standalone stone into the mountain side themselves. And as you make your way through, you hear the clapping of your guys' boots, but it's very loud and echoey. And you hear the scholar say, "Well, I'm glad you made it because the magistrate is very, very busy. And yes, I know he's looking forward to this meeting. And Mr. Sablehart, this is going to be great. So she's just kind of like, let's get this thing going. And as you make your way toward the doors, Elias stops for a second. And he says, Claire, give us a moment. And he turns to the three of you and he says, okay, from this point on, I have no idea what's about to happen. So I just want you to be prepared for anything. You may ask questions and just be prepared to answer them. And if you need to, lie through your teeth to get the right answer. Are we good?
No.
I heard.
And
No.
was that you? Was that
Make it till you make
was
it.
that you, Fervent?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know it was.
Yeah. And he turns back and says, okay, if you can't lie, just stand there and smile, or just be brooding, whatever it is.
I will follow my morals as they
Look
dictate.
with just stand with authority.
Fervent has
you
the
can
most
handle
radiant smile.
Just tell them your name over
That's a different
and over
road
again.
name.
Yeah. So he says, we'll figure it out. So as he kind of like, comes through, there's these beautiful oiled, like light brown double doors that she pushes and it budges a little bit and she budges a little bit. And she finally like puts them open and like, it's almost like she falls as they kind of like loud screech. And as you walk in, you see this study. And immediately you notice that on the ground is this really beautiful ornate rug. And there's a change in the atmosphere. This fireplace and this hearth that has this like fire in the corner. And at the top of on the mantle of this fireplace is this giant corpse head of like, that's been, killed. And it's got these big snarling teeth and the whiskers. It looks like it's like, and you look around and you see that there's books and you see that there's like bookshelves. And I need everyone to make a mind check for me right now if you can.
It's a 4.
Oh God.
Vhalor is very distracted.
Okay.
Same.
So as you all look around, you see the study, you see the big oak desk, and on top of that oak desk is a smaller oak desk where you see Jaja sitting down writing sort of firmly, and he looks he doesn't even break pace with you. Like, is this what you brought me, Elias? And as he says that, what you notice, Rex, is from the corner of your eye, where he's sitting in like the corner to your left, you see the aura next to Jaja. And when you look at his nameplate, it says Magistrate in really big letters, and then next to it it says Jajalin and then Raralin. So he goes by Jaja. So, but you notice the aura standing there. And with that, he says, all right, come on in. And he looks up at the 4 of you. Okay. So I'll be brief. I'm going to tell you the situation. As you've probably heard the rumors, the pass to Lodell is, and we know is that there is an issue with the Titan's Nape, the Aether Bridge. So we've sent about 3 or 4 days ago a scouting party to what has happened, and they have not returned. So we are flying blind at this point, and we're trying to figure out what to do. We have our hands full here, and he points over to the aura to his right, and he says we can't send any more men to investigate. Now, what we also did is one of those we sent was a paladin, and he's yet to return as well. So part of that scouting party was a paladin. So here's where you 4 come in. I do not have authority to grant you passage north. I wish I did. I know Elias and all, even though he is a Apostolo, And I'd like you all to make a quick intelligence, if you will.
18.
18.
That is a 18
18.
also.
18. Okay.
That is a bummer.
So when he says apostolo, what you two immediately is apostolos are from Amdapor. And what they are sort of like Amdapor's field agents. And the second he uses Elias's title, you see him sort of wince a little bit, like, like he's just not happy that his title was out there in the ether now. But those are, and most of the time they go to city states to do good. They're just there to help. Amdapor is known as the ancient city because they are the brother city. They try to help out everybody. Stolas are the boots on the ground, doing the work that needs to be done. So, but you two clock that immediately.
Naturally.
Done. Clocked.
Clocked. I love it. So it's, and so he says,
Do I notice Rex kind of not getting it?
You do. You
All
do
right, then
notice.
I like whisper it.
I'm looking between the three of you. Like I see that there's a knowing between y'all.
Yeah, I tell her about the
what-
Bastolo and the consignment that
okay.
Spike just delivered it in.
Yeah. And what happens is he looks to the four of you and he says, "Now, I do not have authority to grant you passage, but Duchess Gale Nogola can. And I suppose that find her, which we don't have the resources to do, she might be able to grant that. But no one's seen her in 4 days. And last we heard, she and her betrothed had headed to out southwest from here. So if you want, I can commission you. I can allow you to go and ask questions, investigate, and act sort of as a special privilege to try to head in that direction. But and I will also grant you passage back into Stoneridge. That is what I can do.
So
that seems agreeable to me.
Yeah. Yes. So the Duchess left with her spouse, with her husband, and anybody else? Just the two of them?
No, it's only a couple hours from here. But they have an estate, and there's usually caretakers for.
And no news has come out of that estate regarding her status. Like, was she supposed to come back the same day, the next day? Has there been any news whatsoever from her estate?
We don't keep tabs on that. However, she does bear quite a bit of influence. You see, initially, Stoneridge was, a royal family. The Nogolas were the ones who kept the peace and sort of grew it to what it was. And as the Titan's Nape was built, we decided that there needed to be another structure and order running the daily affairs as the population, expanded. So that is where the elected official, myself, and he says that kind of like, he's like smirks when he says that, like he's kind of like, kind of gets off on it. He's like, yeah.
Okay.
So he says, are in charge to keep up the order of things and the commerce of the city. And that's hard to do when the passage north is closed. But one of the things that the royal family's been able to do is grant a special privilege. I think they call it, I don't know, they call it like a company or something, but I don't think that name's going to stick. So he kind of like says that kind of like as a by thing. So in order to, be granted the special privilege for you to operate here in Stoneridge and to investigate areas, we have to kind of sort of, make sure that you're up to the task. So the question I have for the four of you is, are you up to the task?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I do kind of like a semi-sarcastic salute.
You
Overall,
click your heels of your
agreeable.
Crocs?
Yep.
Maybe they squeak?
Yep.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
So Jaja looks at the four of you and says, fine then, prove it. He snaps his fingers. As he snaps his fingers, you don't even think, you just react. You see the Aura to go and strike you, and you immediately meet him into the center, and you raise your shield up and you block that, and sparks fly across your shield. And then, and as that happens, what I'd like you three to do is, actually, Levi, since you've already engaged, go ahead and make an attack roll for me.
Okay. Alright, actions. Attack. That is an unnatural 20.
Perfect. So as you block that, you use the momentum from his blade as the sparks come down, and you bring your sword up, and it's like lightning. It comes from your hilt to your hand, and in one smooth blocked and drawn your blade, and you swung it around, and you strike him from the collarbone down through to his sternum, and you feel the blade hit his leather, punch through, and you start to feel the flesh tear, and blood starts to drip down as you strike him, and he yells in pain. Go ahead and roll damage for me, if you will.
Oh,
that is a direct hit.
Heck yeah.
Damn. Thought you guys were just sparring.
Uh-oh.
So that is a 2 overall.
Well,
sorry, it's plus 2, so 6 overall.
Okay. Yeah, okay, got it.
Yep.
Anything? What was the augmentation you took? Then the 3 custom class.
Okay. Oh, it's the smite. So add d6 damage to any direct hit from a single target attack.
Yep. So you can drop.
So that is plus d6.
Correct. So you can roll another d6 to smite him if you want to. Now what you do is you start with 5 MP, and so you're just going to drain that, and you're going to recover 2 MP at the end of each round.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Done. So that is 8 overall.
So as you strike him in the chest, you detonate this white hot light from your blade into his body, and it pushes him back, and he falls down, and then he stands back up, and you see that there's this red steam coming off the blade hit. And you hear Elias yell, "The Scholar! Attack the Scholar!" I will have both Rex and I'll have Vhalor. I'll have you make attack rolls. And one of the things that you notice, that as the Aura sort of steps back, you see that around him in this sort of radius, you notice that have you ever looked at a fire and you've seen how right above the flame it distorts sort of the image? That is what you guys see in sort of this area around you, and what he's doing is he's drawing enmity on himself. And so there's I'm going to have you guys make these 2 attack rolls, but they'll be with a -5 penalty.
Ooh. So what, just do your first attack then?
Yep. Go ahead and you both can make attacks.
16.
Okay.
1+4.
That's 5. Okay. So
we are going to throw some fucking daggers.
Here we go. Yeah, 11. So what happens is, as you pull out a dagger, Rex, and you throw it towards the Scholar, and you just can't get a good beat on it, and that dagger goes wide right and sticks into the wall. But
that's so embarrassing.
That doesn't stop Pono and Vhalor. When you come in, you dash in, and you feel this dagger go right by your head, but you come in and you strike the into the chest like hard, and you feel this cracking underneath, and she kind of winces a little bit, and I need you to do me a favor and roll for damage.
Is that direct hit since it's 20? 30-20 though?
Mm-hmm.
3 plus 2 is 4. The 2 for the base hit. Yeah, 2 for the base hit.
So 5. So you crack into the Scholar, and she kind of hits the ground and just kind of falls down. And you hear Elias say, "All right, that's enough." And you see from his hand, the bright white light comes out, and he shoots it, and he heals the scar on the Aura. And then he holds out his hand, and he brings back to life the Scholar that Vhalor has knocked out. And he looks over and says, "You seen enough, Jaja?" Jaja sort of, closes his books. He's like, "No, it looks like you can handle yourself." The Aura He looks over at you, Fervent, and he holsters his great sword, and he looks at you and says, "You're lucky you called it off, but that was a great hit, and yeah, I think you're gonna be okay."
Cool name, by the way.
Expect nothing less with somebody with such a name.
He just and as he says that, you can see that there is a sense of deep respect for him, for you, Fervent, and he kind of just leaves knowing that like you got one on him, like bad. And as he leaves and shuts the door behind him, you just hear him say, "Great name," and he closes the door.
I will not return the respect. No respect.
He's just doing his job, man.
Yeah.
Like he's
Is his
he's
job
doing
being a
thing.
dick?
Yeah.
Oh wow! I did not expect such a word
Elias,
out of Fervent's mouth.
Elias looks at you, and he looks at you and smiles. Fervent, and he says, "Cut him some slack. His pride's hurt right now." And Jaja looks up and he says,
"Yeah, you
We'll
own
see.
that guy."
Yeah. Jaja looks at him and he says, "No one's ever not been struck by Zalthorn," and he's like not even breaking up from looking at his paper. He's like, "That was impressive," and so he's like, "Okay, we're done here." And you see the scholar kind of timidly. She's like, "Sorry about that," but yes, meeting's over. And she kind of like hurries you guys outside. And now, just because he healed doesn't mean there isn't this giant opening in his armor. So as the four of you walk through the magistrate's chamber, see people with a deep found of respect because they sort of understood what had just happened in there. And as you make your way through the front doors towards the exit, you hear people start whispering, and people start again looking at you, and you feel these eyes are just burning on you. And the doors open up to the entrance to the magistrate, and you're immediately met with that fresh mountain air. And that is where we will end for tonight.